All right, this one's gonna be a good one. Have you ever wondered what's beef? What's beef? Beef is when you need 2 gats to go to sleep.
She want me to lock it down, but I told her to pass the key. You gotta slow it down.
Hey friends, what's up? It's Maisie with BBQ by Maisie. If you're new here, boy, are you in for quite the treat. I've got something good up my sleeve today. And if you're coming back, I just wish I could send you $1 million doll hairs, because I really would. While you're here and I have your listening ear, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share, comment, do all the things. You guys are why I put on my pants, put on this signature BBQ by Maisie sweater, and get my butt out here and do videos. We are making pulled beef using a 3-pound chuck roast, and after we get our beef so tender it just can't stay together and it's falling apart, we're making French dip sandwiches. I'm unhinged today. We are using the Pit Boss Austin XL Onyx Edition for this cook today. One of my favorite grills. She's just, if we're picking favorite children, she's my favorite child, to be blunt. All right, we've got a beauty of a chuck roast here, a nice 3-pound girl, weighing in 3 pounds right on the dot this morning. Got some good fat in there, but not too much. So first we're gonna slather this bad old girl in some mustard, rub it in, get it all nice and down in the pores. And now I'm coming at you with 2 seasonings. We're gonna layer some Pit Boss seasonings. The first rub we're using is called Texas Barbecue by Pit Boss. It's got a nice color and nice flavor that pairs really well with beef. So we're gonna give that a nice coating on our chuck roast here, pat it in, and then we're gonna bring in the Pit Boss smoky salt and cracked pepper. I just love the pepperiness and the coarseness of the salt in this rub. I like my beef to have that little salt and pepper flavor on it, so that's why I'm hitting it last with this. Boom, meat is prepped and ready for the smoker. That's it. Now we're gonna put our meat on our preheated Pit Boss Austin XL, preheated to 250 degrees for this smoke today. I got a competition blend pellet in the hopper. It's just one of my faves. It's just my go-to. All right, our chuck roast is on the smoker. This first process is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing too complex. I know you can do this. I put the meat on the left side of the smoker. The middle of the smoker has the burn pot, and so that's the hottest part of our smoker, so I don't want to put the meat there. To the left or the right is what I always suggest. We are going to let our chuck roast smoke for about 3 hours until we reach the stall of 165. This is just a guide of a time. Remember, your meat might be bigger than mine. So I can't tell you exactly how long it will take, but for this first process, we're just getting it nice and smoky. We're getting a little bit of a bark built up on it. It's gonna be so good. We're also going to spritz it about every hour, or when it's looking like it needs a little drink, with some beef broth mixed with just a little bit of water. Nothing too complicated. We're keeping it simple today. So we've got an hour to kill before we come back out here and check on our meat. I'm personally gonna start this morning with a Diet Coke. You do whatever you want to do in the next hour, but make sure you meet me back out here soon, okay? All right. See you in 1 hour. Let's go. Time to spritz the roast again. You can see that it's developing amazing color and an amazing bark. All we're gonna do is spritz. Be back out here in 1 more hour, and then we're gonna check the temp and see where we're at, see if we're getting close to that stall, if it's time to move on to the next step. So we've got 1 more hour to kill. Let's go. Hey gang, welcome back in to our cook of this chuck roast that we are gonna get so freaking tender it falls apart. Let me get you caught up to speed. So we spritzed it every hour for 3 hours. I came out, checked the temperature. and the temperature was only about 145. I'd really like to get that temperature up just a little bit more before I put it in the tin foil, so I let it smoke another hour. So now we are into this cook for 4 hours, and the chuck roast in most parts is about 160, some parts about 155. But I'm feeling good about moving this over to our foil pan now. I mean, let's just take a moment and look at the bark and look at the color on this chuck roast. Great, right? All right, so let's get this hunk of meat off the grill and move in to our next steps. All right, so as you can see here, we've got our tray, some onions. This is about half an onion, and some beef broth in the bottom of the tray. I'm gonna add more beef broth once we get the chuck roast in here. So just have this prepped and ready to go. Now let's get our meat. Look at that beauty. Great color. Smell, look at the juice. I mean, it's just, we've got a swimming pool here. And we're gonna add some more beef broth to our tray. You don't wanna get it too full. You don't wanna have this foil pan busting on you. But you know what? I think it can handle the rest of this broth because I am going to be using it for my French dip sandwiches. So this broth is gonna be good. Now we want to cover this with foil very tightly. I'm using 2 pieces of tin foil just for good measure. All right, let's get this back on the smoker. We're gonna still keep it on the left side. Next step is totally optional and dependent on the amount of patience you have with your meat. I'm gonna crank my temperature up a little bit. I like to go up at least 25 degrees into that 270 range or 275 range, or you could even bump it up to 300. Today, I'm just gonna bump it up to about 275. If it's starting to still take a long time to get this meat done, I have no problems with bumping it up to 300, okay? I want this French dip for dinner. I'm not waiting around all day. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump my smoker up to 275 right now. Okay, so now for the remainder of the cook, chuck roast is just gonna chill in this pan until we reach that temperature, like I said, of about 200, 205. So it's gonna take my spidey senses, just by the way this cook's going, I bet it's a good another 3 hours, if not more. I'm gonna come back out in 2 hours though and just take the temperature and see where we are. But we got some time to chill, and you know what? It's time for another little Diet Coke. I need to go wet my whistle. All right, see you back out here in 2 to 3 hours. Okay guys, so I just came out, I took the temperature, and the internal temperature was in the 200s, which if we were just going by temperature, we'd be like, oh, our meat's ready, let's get it off the smoker. No. When I stuck in my Thermopin, it was met with resistance and I didn't like it. So I kept it on the smoker for 1 more hour, and now you're going to see it's probing super tender. The Thermopin slides right in. There's no resistance. So always remember, don't look at the internal temperature of the meat as much as you are looking at the tenderness. Remember, we want this to be fall apart beef. And it can't fall apart if it's not tender. So taking it that extra hour got it right where we want it to be. I'm super happy with its tenderness. Now, if you're just making regular pulled roast beef, you could add some barbecue sauce after you shred it. There's lots of things you could do. But in this video, I'm taking it to French dip sandwiches where we're going to use that yummy broth that it's been cooking in. And we're just gonna make a delicious sandwich. So if you're about to tune away right now, I want you to comment halfway Hank, because we'll know that you didn't hang with us till the bitter end. If you're hanging with me till the bitter end, I'm gonna have something else for you to say. So if you're tapping now, you're a halfway Hank. Comment it. All right, so let's get this beef off the smoker. I'm gonna let it sit in the foil pan for 30 minutes, and I'm just going to let it just have a little bath. I'm gonna let all those juices just kind of reincorporate into the meat, chill out a little bit without being on the heat, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Don't you dare click out of this video. I can see you're trying, don't you do it. The rain moved in real quick, so I had to speed through that, but threw the meat on the griddle, melted the cheese, put it on a nice little hoagie bun, used my drippings and broth from the meat for the au jus. It's gonna be an insane dinner. And you know what? If you made it this far, hanging out with me through the whole sandwich process, comment down below, I'm Maisie's favorite, because you really are, for hanging with me for this long till the very bitter end. Appreciate you so much. Let's get a taste of this sandwich. Woo! That's a good French dip. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in my backyard today. It was quite the cook. Started off with a nice sunny day, and here we are, pouring rain with a delicious meal. Let me know if you try pulled beef, and if you do, you're in for quite the treat. Appreciate you so much for hanging out with me. We'll see you back out here next time. You better have a good rest of your day. Let's go.
Slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me. I came up from the bottom, now look at me now, they mad at me. I cannot slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they asking me if I can slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me.